To begin the alignment, we are going to remove any valve caps and inflate the tires to the specified PSI on the door jamb. This vehicle requires 35 PSI. I go and check all the tires, all 4 tires, to make sure they are 35 PSI. After I inflate the tires to the proper pressure, I'm going to lift the vehicle on the alignment lift by pushing the button at the top and lifting it to about waist high and lower it onto the safety lift. Next, I'm going to grab the alignment head, and these little heads are equipped with markings. You can see there is a couple of patterns where these heads are rotated with the tires. We have a front direction only and a front and rear direction head on the right. On our machine, we have it set up for the front and rear movement, so we're going to roll the car backwards and forwards, and there's a little window when you rotate this head to the proper number. This numbered head is 0, and we need to make sure that the 0 is in that square for the movement of the wheels going back and forth. So the third box over, should be a 0 lined up, and then we just tighten the head down to make sure that it is in the proper position. Sometimes people twist these off. We want to make sure they're aligned properly. After it's tight, with this being in the 0 position and verifying that this is a 0 head, I can adjust the arms by pushing this lever inside and extracting the arm out and moving the lever in or out based upon tire size. We're going to keep this to the lowest setting because these tires are on a passenger car, and we just push these clamps up against the tread of the wheel in the 3 and 9 o'clock position, pull down the latch to lock it in place. We verify that this has number 2 marking on the head, and number 2 is locked into place on the driver's side. Number 1 is on the passenger front, so make sure that the window says 1 and mount it on the tire 3 and 9 o'clock position and lock the lever. And the last wheel is number 3 on the passenger rear, and we just simply put that over on the wheel 3 and 9 o'clock position and lock the lever latch down into place after it is secured up against the wheel. Next, we go to the screen and begin alignment. It will populate with year, make, model. We have this barcode scanner. If the vehicle is new enough, we can scan the barcode on this door jamb, and it populates the vehicle, year, make, model. It may ask us for a tire size in this case, and we go over the tire and we read the size of the tire and go back over and make sure we select the correct tire size and select OK. This vehicle is equipped with electronic steering, and so the electronic steering reset, you need to make sure you know where this is after you complete the alignment to reset the sensors for calibration purposes. And we're going to select OK. On the side here, you can see there is jacking compensation and rolling compensation. And it gives us some pictures with animation showing us how to roll the vehicle depending upon what type of roll we want to do on the alignment machine. Again, ours moves not just forward, we're going to move it back and forth. So our tires are on the turn plates, and we're going to make sure that these pins are attached. The turn plate bridge is flush with the lift. It's in the up position, and the pins are locked. We are going to grab the wheel chocks and position 1 behind the wheel and 1 against the wheel in the front. We go to the other side, make sure the pins are properly attached. with the turn plate bridge up and then the pins attached here. The vehicle now has to be put into neutral. If the vehicle is not in neutral, we simply twist the key on, apply the brake on most of our cars, and then we drop it into neutral. After the vehicle is in neutral, with the key on, engine off, I make sure that the steering wheel is in the straight ahead position to keep it from going sideways on the left. We then step down and we're going to roll the car backwards. And so I'm going to grab the top of the tire, make sure I'm not positioned in front of the cameras that get the targets. And I'm going to pull back on the top of the tire as it rolls back on the screen. You can see that the bar graphs will turn green. As they turn green in the middle, I hold and pause for a minute, takes a measurement, then I'm going to roll forward until it goes back green. Because I didn't move the wheel chock in the front, it keeps it lined up, and then I just slide the wheel chock in the back. Next, the directions tells me to grab the brake pedal depressor, and I'm going to turn this steering wheel left and right. Because our machine is not automated with the airlock disengage and engage system, I need to apply the brakes. Before I turn the steering wheel, I'm going to have to remove the turn plate pins. So these turn plate pins, if I have rear wheel steering, needs to be unplugged in the rear. And then I go to the front and I pull or twist the turn plate bridge down and pull the pins out in the front wheels because the wheels need to turn on these turn plates. The turn plate bridge down, and then the pins are removed on all turn plates where we make our adjustment. As I twist the steering wheel, I'm going to not touch the car, reach through the window, and on a stool, I'm going to turn the wheels to the left where they light up green. This takes a caster measurement to the left. The wheels are on the turn plates, and you can see how the wheels turn to the side to take that measurement. Next, I'm going to turn the wheels to the right. And again, this is measuring caster as it is moving back and forth. And also, this is called camber roll as we're moving it to measure that caster and camber roll measurement. I move the wheels back to the straight ahead position, and all of the alignment angles will populate onto the screen. Green is good, red is bad. The little green bar there will then tell me all of the tools needed to make this alignment happen. After I see those tools, there's a screen that will pull up and give me the different measurements. I use these measurements. I'm going to measure the front toe, and I need to adjust that front toe, and I can use these bar graphs to populate based upon my eyesight to make that measurement. This little screen gives me the option when I go into video adjustment, how to adjust the toe on this vehicle. You can see it gives me a play-by-play video, and for me to adjust, I'm going to adjust with wind toe as I select the steering wheel on that bar graph, and then I read the instructions on what it tells me to do. So it tells me to start the vehicle and make sure the steering wheel is straight as I do this adjustment. Turn off the vehicle, but leave the key on, engine off. And next I'm going to lift the vehicle up because I am adjusting the toe. Instead of crawling around underneath the car, I like to get it where I can work underneath it. You may need to lift the alignment cameras on the cross beam and make sure, again, you're following the proper instructions step by step before hitting the green bar. After I see what needs to happen, it gives me animated views of what I need to do to make the adjustment. So I'm going to break the jam nut loose. After I break the jam nut loose, then I'm going to twist the inner tie rod to make the adjustment. So with a different size wrench that it gave me on the tools and kits, I twist that inner tie rod to make my adjustment for the toe on the right side of the vehicle. After I line up that adjustment, I'm going to hold the inner tie rod into place. It's important that I do this when I tighten the jam nut because the jam nut can sometimes twist that shaft and it goes out of alignment again. So I want to make sure and tighten the jam nut, holding that inner tie rod so it's nice and tight. After the jam nut is tightened properly, I grab on the vehicle to jounce it, and that settles my measurement down to go to the next tie rod. And so I repeat the same procedure on the opposite side of the vehicle, where now I'm working on the left side by breaking the jam nut loose, and I twist the inner tie rod to make the adjustment, and that will move the bar graph and move the arrow on the bar graph as I visually see how I'm making this adjustment. As I'm twisting this shaft, it will move the inner tie rod in or out and move the toe of the wheel. After I get the measurement where I want it, I'm going to tighten the jam nut. This is some snap-on alignment tools that gives me a little bit of leverage. And I again make sure that jam nut is secured up against the outer tie rod. Next, I move over and jounce the vehicle by pulling down on the vehicle, and everything settles on the suspension and everything stayed good in the green state. Next, I'm going to move the steering wheel to the straight ahead position. So I'm going to start the car, move the steering wheel to the straight ahead position, make sure it's straight, and then I'm going to turn the key off, engine on, and hit continue. After I do that, you can see my toe is now good, and now I need to reset the steering wheel because this is a electronic steering system. So we have that code link connector. We plug that into the back of the machine. We're now going to follow the instructions like it told us. I'm going to remove the brake pedal depressor, put the vehicle in park, turn the key off, remove the key just in case. Then I'm going to plug in the OBD2 code link connector, turn the key on, engine off. I don't want to start it. And after I've went through that procedure and it told me to do that, I verified that I did everything correctly before I hit continue. After I hit continue, it will go through and it starts to erase old data on the computer, and it's going to now verify that my steering wheel position is straight ahead. So I double check to make sure my steering wheel is in the straight ahead position, which it is, and then I select OK, and it's going to now update with steering wheel position. Now it says that I don't want to unplug this code link connector because it erased that information. I don't want to move the steering wheel. I don't want to play with the brakes. I don't touch the car as this vehicle is uploaded. This screen tells me if the ABS and the traction control light is flashing, and you can see that they are. So it's alerting me to see if this is working correctly. So now I'm going to go back and continue the process of this update. So this is just verifying that everything is going smoothly, and it will continually update with the sensors. And then it says if the steering wheel is straight, it is complete. So after I select continue, it will load up the last few things, and it walks me through how to unplug the system. So in this case, I need to turn the key off, and I remove the key just to be safe. Unplug the code leak connector. After I unplug that code link connector, then I hit continue and make sure the steering wheel is in the straight ahead position one last time, and it gives me all the measurements before and after. So whatever the car came in with before measurements, what it left with after measurements, this is going to go to the customer. So I would want to print this information to give to the customer. When I am done with the alignment, I simply select the reset button, push yes, and it resets back to the original screen to begin another alignment. Make sure that we put the turn plate pins back into place. Remove the target heads after any measurement has been put into the car. And we're going to hang the alignment heads back on. Here, we do not want to run over these alignment heads. They're very expensive. Remove all tools, turn plate bridge up, pins back in on the turn plates, and then we're going to lift the lever up, pull the target off, hang the target back up into place. So we do the same procedure on the other side. We're going to remove the alignment heads, make sure the pins are back in on the rack so that it doesn't break the turn plate pins, remove the wheel chocks, and remove the target. Put the target back up over on the aligner rack, and the same procedure in the front, turn plate bridge, pins in place, alignment head put away. You may have to move the wheel back and forth on some of these to get the pins lined back up into the plates. Don't forget the brake pedal depressor. Make sure that you hang that up along with gathering up any of the tools which you don't want to run over as you remove the vehicle. We want to lower the vehicle down to the ground and then drive the vehicle away, and you're done.